Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this continued special meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee. I'm Paul Krikorian, Chair of the committee. I'm joined by Vice Chair Councilmember Mitch Englander, as well as Councilmember Bill Rosendahl. Let's go directly to public comment. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Judy West, and I'm a city worker. I want to speak on the budget today. Last year, 76 senior nutrition workers lost their jobs. The year before, 75 childcare workers lost their jobs. And this year, 200 clerical workers. This is an attack on women. Women that fill 85% of these positions. Children, seniors, women. This is an attack that needs to stop.
I'm Jasmine Hernandez. I work for LAPD at one of the actual stations. It's not a war. It's not a war between sworn, civilian, or any of the other departments. But something that has been said in regards to cutting LAPD clerical is that it's not going to impact what's going on in the streets. And I have to say, as somebody who works directly in a station doing clerical, it will. We already have several positions that are clerical positions being held by officers that could go out onto the streets. So if you cut more people, what's going to happen is it's all going to shift. A sworn person, there are certain positions that cannot be kind of doled out. There's certain positions that are full-time positions. You'll have a sworn officer sitting behind the desk doing timekeeping. You'll have a sworn officer sitting behind the desk doing subpoena control. You'll have a sworn officer sitting behind the desk auto clerking. And that's just on a station level. There's a lot of stuff that goes on to get these guys out to where they need to be. So in consideration of that, if you cut 200 clerk positions, senior, regular, and all the rest in between, then what's going to happen when you hire all of those other officers to hit that 10,000 number? Some of them are going to be shifted inside. So you're going to have somebody who's making considerably more money with a way better retirement plan doing what we can do. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now to invite up the representatives of the Coalition of LA City Unions to the front table. I appreciate your being here to participate in this process. Welcome to all of you. And
let me just say, our task here today is to talk specifically about how do we stop the layoffs and offer concrete solutions. So first of all, what we want to do is offer a better way forward, specifically solving a $19.6 million problem, which is the layoffs. We have calculated, we've received numbers and lists from the CAO outlining positions to be laid off, and we've extrapolated from that their labor costs, including wages, pension costs, and health and welfare costs. It's important, we note that 210 of the 231 positions slated for layoff are coalition, but our goal is to save all jobs, all 231. And so the number before you represents a 12-month cost. Typically that's not the number in a layoff because it takes time to actually implement a layoff. But in the interest of being as conservative as possible, we thought that we should capture the fully loaded cost of retaining 231 city workers performing essential duties for the city every day. I now want to turn to Alice Goff, President of AFSCME Local 3090, our Clerical and Support Services Unit, and she's going to talk to you about the impact of these proposed layoffs.
Thank you. As Ms. Parisi said, 231 positions, filled positions that the mayor's budget proposed to eliminate, 194 of them come directly from the Clerical and Support Services Unit. As you know, a majority of these positions are women, many of them single parents and women of color, and 157 of them are in the police department alone. All of the positions, not just the positions in the clerical unit, but all of our positions provide direct service to the public or support police and fire. In the Department of Animal Services, the clerk typists there work the public counter, processing licenses and collecting fees. In the Office of Finance, the customer service specialists who are slated for layoff work the public counter and call centers, again, processing permits, collecting taxes, clearly, you know, important revenue generating positions. We've worked in the past with the Department of Finance to create as needed classifications to beef up the staffing during the peak tax collection seasons. But their work is year round, and they continue to use contracts to supplement staff. As to the police department, just to give you a flavor of the work that's done there, particularly in the records section, one of the members spoke to a little earlier. The work supports critical public safety. I'm going to talk just about Pacific Division alone. That records section supports airport police, as well as LAPD officers for their division, the beach patrols, and overflow from divisions within West Bureau, where the staffing in the record sections are just dangerously low levels. In West LA Division, they have one principal clerk, one senior clerk typist, and one clerk typist currently. The work cannot get done with that level of staffing. They are responsible for ComStat, that's the computer statistics that the department uses to determine how officers are deployed in order to keep crime down. Therefore, the record clerk's work is critical and very, very detailed. Some of it includes like coding information into the system, crime reports and suspects. They're tracking numbers and types of crime in a given area. The time lapse between the reporting of an incident when officer writes the report and it's finally approved by his supervisor, and then when it's entered into the system is critical. What I'm told is that if that process takes more than one day, then the system itself, you know, puts off all of the red flags, because obviously that's a negative impact on the data that's needed to, again, determine just how to assign those officers and cars. So obviously then also the timely processing of reports impact the court filings that the officers do and the ability to continue to detain an arrestee. From the records section, citizens can get report numbers. They can't get a copy of a report. They have to call downtown to R&I for that. They now have to deal with the probation department, who calls at the record sections to request copies of the reports, with the decentralizing of all of that stuff going on in probation. So you see that all of the work is critical, all of it is priority, and at this point being performed by a skeleton staffing. So the challenge is who will perform those duties? We know that officers are already performing some traditionally civilian jobs, and you know, try as he might, the chief, well-intended, will have really a challenge on his hands in not increasing the number of officers, which gives the downside then of taking those officers out of the streets. So we also find ourselves, our civilians, performing higher level jobs in the police department without actually being testing and promoting, because again, salary savings are being realized in that way. So as Ms. Parisi said, we really are here to provide alternative solutions that can help to balance our budget without the layoffs, especially from amongst the ranks of some of the most vulnerable and lowest paid employees. There really is no need for these jobs that are really middle-class jobs to be cut in order to balance our budget. We just, again, just strongly believe that there are better ways to do it, and we appreciate your time in hearing us and in doing this, and really encourage you to reject the mayor's plan, and let's work together to come up with something that serves us all in a better way. Thanks.